The lands we now call Afghanistan and Pakistan are bound by more than a line on a map. For centuries, culture crossed these mountains with ease. Markets thrived and languages mingled. Intertwined tribes shaped local rules and reconciliation. Trade caravans snaked through formidable passes. People, ideas, and goods flowed freely. This tapestry of connection predates modern borders, which makes the late 20th century conflict more tragic. This story is not simple. It's a chronicle of global powers and regional ambitions, and ordinary lives caught in the crossfire. We begin with the spark, 1979. A nation at a crossroads. A superpower's intervention lit a fire. From resistance and foreign armies to leaders and shadow agencies, the arc unfolds to today. In 1978, a coup in Kabul ushered in a communist-style government. Radical reforms collided with traditional, religious, and tribal life. Dissent simmered in the countryside. Moscow feared a collapsing ally and spreading instability. The Soviet army rolled in to prop up the regime. Afghans, proud of independence, mobilized. Pockets of revolt became a national resistance, a loose coalition, different factions, one aim: expel the invaders. They became known as the Mujahideen. The Soviets held cities and highways with overwhelming firepower. Gunships and jets owned the sky. But the resistance knew the terrain. Ambushes, mines, and hit-and-run attacks bled convoys and outposts. A grinding stalemate took hold. Then came covert aid. CIA with Pakistan's ISI funded heavily by Saudi Arabia, arming and training the resistance. With Soviet tanks next door, Pakistan faced a stark choice. Zia's regime chose opposition on security, strategy, and ideology. Encirclement fears loomed. India to the east, a Soviet ally to the west. Pakistan became the conduit. Aid arrived in Karachi, moved by road to the frontier. The ISI controlled distribution, shaping the resistance's future leaders. Goal 1: push the Soviets out. Goal 2: a friendly Kabul, strategic depth. Favored factions, often Pashtun and religiously conservative, were elevated. Moderates and nationalists sidelined. Divisions deepened, sowing seeds for future infighting. Arms influx and black markets destabilized border regions. Frontline status brought gains, and unleashed forces hard to control. Sophisticated weapons, including Stinger missiles, challenged Soviet air power. The calculus shifted, and so did the war's momentum. By 1989, the Soviets withdrew, leaving a fractured battlefield behind. War unleashed a vast humanitarian crisis. Villages bombed, fields mined, livelihoods destroyed. Millions fled. Pakistan bore the brunt. Temporary tents became semi-permanent cities. Overcrowding, poor sanitation, scarce food and water. Aid arrived, but need outpaced relief. For many, camp life defined childhood. Religious schools, often Gulf-funded, shaped beliefs with stricter teachings. Camps became rear bases to rest, heal, and recruit. Dispossessed youth found purpose in the fight. A self-sustaining engine for war took root. Lives paused, waiting for a home that felt farther each year. An entire generation grew up between tents and timelines. The Soviet exit was hailed as victory. Unity dissolved into a brutal civil war, checkpoints, shelling, and shattered hopes. From chaos emerged the Taliban, promising order. They disarmed militias and enforced austere codes. By 1996, they ruled most of Afghanistan. Harsh laws, especially on women and public life, drew global alarm. They sheltered foreign militants, including Osama bin Laden. On September 11, 2001, nearly 3,000 were killed in attacks planned from Afghan sanctuary. The US demanded handover. The Taliban refused. US air power plus Northern Alliance collapsed Taliban defenses. By December 2001, their regime fell, but not their network. A new, uncertain chapter began. After 9/11, Pakistan pivoted, publicly joining the US war on terror. Airspace and bases opened, hundreds detained. Yet elements of the security apparatus kept ties to the Taliban, viewed as a counterweight to India. Leaders found sanctuary across the border, regrouping and rearming. The Durand line is long, porous, and mountainous, hard to seal. Fighters struck in Afghanistan, then slipped back to rest and re-equip. Year by year, the insurgency grew. Roadside bombs, suicide attacks, assassinations, brutal and effective. The human cost mounted, civilians killed, millions displaced. Ideological fire leapt the border. A distinct Pakistani Taliban emerged, aligned in aims and methods. They struck soldiers and civilians alike, tens of thousands killed. Pakistan fought a grinding insurgency born of earlier choices. Across borders, families like Noor's lost land, limbs, and time, seeking safety more than victory. In 2021, after faltering talks, foreign forces withdrew. The army collapsed with startling speed. In August, the Taliban returned to power. Today, relations are uneasy and fraught. Islamabad urges action on the TTP. Kabul decries cross-border strikes. Periodic clashes keep the line hot. Lasting peace requires a new path, mutual respect over zero-sum games. Dialogue must widen beyond intelligence rooms to economies and communities. Clear mechanisms for border disputes and militancy are essential. Turn the frontier from battleground to marketplace. Support refugees and enable safe voluntary returns. Invest in youth. Education and jobs beat recruitment and rage.